Welcome everybody. My name is Elene Marsden and this is Hangouts for Business, and I've got a great guest with me today. I've got Andrew from Andrew Laws. Hi Andrew, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I am very good indeed. The sun's shining in and it's the end of a lovely day, so I'm really happy here right now, and it's fantastic that you could join me, because I think anyone listening today is going to be able to go away with some things that they can actually do to improve their listings. Isn't that right?
Yes. Oh, yes. Certainly. This might be one of the easiest kind of bits of advice I've ever given anybody.
Right, hold that thought, because I'm just going to introduce you now. Basically, you are a web professional. You do SEO, you do writing, there's so many things that you do. You've also described yourself as a musician, tolerant father, and I love this, and a narco numpty. I couldn't even say that. What exactly does that mean?
Narco numpty. It's God, it's completely out of the blue. This, if you're a narco, it's a way of saying, look, I'm prepared to look at society and life in a way that will most benefit other people that I know, and it's a genuine sense of community that's not enforced by political parties and whatever. God, that's so kind of like come out of left field. No, and narco's just it's everyone helping each other. Everybody helping each other out. Perhaps choosing trade over money. So if I can help you with something, then maybe you can help me with something. So that's where that comes from. It's been there on my description for years. No one's ever asked what it is.
I couldn't even get my lips around it. A narco numpty, that's brilliant. I know that you write a lot as well. I know, and you've got some amazing blog posts out there. So if anyone wants to follow up with you, then just go and check Andrew's Google Plus page, because all the places that he writes are listed there. I'm not going to go into all those details, but some very interesting stuff. So anyway, Andrew, I think we met networking. We met at a SIMS event, a Suffolk Internet Marketing group, and at the time you did a fantastic presentation on blog posts, how to write them. And I was just really happy that you could come onto this Hangout show today and share with us how we can get our business listed on page 1 of Google. So over to you.
Okay, as I say, this is going to be basic. I'm going to show you a few things that you may have seen before, but obviously used to talking in front of a big room full of people, so I can gauge kind of how we're going. This is a bit new to me. Okay, so I'm going to start with a few givens. We know that marketing is about visibility. And that can be taken to as extreme, as in kind of no publicity is bad publicity or whatever, but we're going to focus on the good, because I think that's the best way to go. Okay, so a lot of the work I do is focused around Google, as a lot of the world is these days. So I'm going to draw you a really simple diagram here, and you should recognize it. Okay, I'm going to try not to talk with my back turned to you, so bear with me.
Okay, carry on. So is artist one of the things you've listed on your list of
Very much not. No. I could do a Jackson Pollock type painting where you just throw a lot of paint, and I'd probably have a great time. I doubt kind of my wife would be very impressed.
You've got the perfect
so you
walls for it.
As I was going to say computer screen, but because I've done it that way, we'll call it a tablet screen, and just I'll pretend that was deliberate. Okay, so when you search for something on Google, that's a search box.
Okay.
And I'm not even going to try and do the Google logo.
Okay.
That's just the way. Okay, so when you search for something, the first lot of results that you'll see, and the ones most people are most familiar with, are the ones here. Now we're on a low resolution camera, so you can't tell, but I'm actually writing incredibly fast, really accurate results there. Okay. Now those results are what we call the organic results. They're the ones that we spend a lot of time and effort with SEO, kind of getting companies to sort of rise up to the top. I'm not going to go into kind of great depth here, but you say I kind of do a lot of writing. The main reason is that creating quality content is still the absolute best way to get to the top of those. But depending on how competitive your niche or your, the field you're in is, you could be talking a year, a month. It's very broad how much effort you have to put in to get to the top there. It's always worth it, and for a long-term plan, that's always, that's the way to go, very much so. Okay, so organic results. Now, something else you'll see whenever you search on Google, there's some little boxes here. Now, these are the AdWords adverts.
And you have to get quite a bit of money for that, don't you, of course?
You do. I mean, the return on investment is exceptional. If the return on investment for SEO is here, then return on investment for AdWords is about here, but you've got to know what you're doing, and you've got to put money into it. AdWords are a bit like a gym membership. If Google ring you and say, would you like to try AdWords? And you go, yeah, let's go for it. They'll very kindly talk you through how to set it up. But from that point, you're kind of on your own. So there's a theory that gyms make their money because when you're all enthusiastic about getting fit, you pay, and then it starts coming out monthly, and then you realise you haven't been for a year and your money's still going. I'm being horribly sceptical, but I think kind of Google AdWords are a very similar thing. But I don't want to leave the AdWords section on a negative, because AdWords are fantastic, but it's money more than anything else. A lot of the SEO stuff, if you know your field, and everyone who runs a business or is involved in marketing business does know their field, you automatically have in your head a lot of what you need to succeed. You know what people want, and if you don't know, you can find out. AdWords, it's more about pushing money at things and controlling it. Now, you see there's a space here.
Yes.
It's a space that doesn't appear on all Google search results, but it's increasingly appearing on an awful lot of them. This is what we call the Google Knowledge Graph. What it usually looks like is some lines of information and a map. Do you want me to try drawing a map?
Have a go. Just put a box in there.
This is a map. I live here. Something I want is there.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, what Google are putting in there, and they call it, well, we call it the knowledge graph. What they're putting in is results from their own little system, from Google+.
Right.
Now, to get ahead with Google+, you need to be on it. I know that's stating the obvious, and a lot of companies are on it without realizing, because Google do that thing like they have with personal Google+ things, where they'll kind of say, oh, we'll get you up and running, and you go, oh, really? I didn't know I had a profile. Anyway, the best way to get into this box is to get reviews.
Reviews.
Now, reviews.
Okay.
If you have a Google+ account, people can leave you reviews. Now, I did have loads of text prepared about why reviews are important, but anyone who's ever used Amazon or many other e-commerce sites, we know why. There's stats, 70% of people don't make a purchase without looking for reviews, and so on and so forth. Reviews are important.
I think you're right, and I think if there's two, let's say two things, and you think which one will I go for, the one that's got the most reviews, most positive reviews, is the one you're going to be swayed by.
It's interesting you say positive reviews, because there is evidence that just if you have reviews, it's not even that all of them are terribly glowing, because to be honest, if you look at the product on Amazon, for example, and there's 50 reviews and all of them are 5-star, and they're all saying, yeah, my life started the day I bought these batteries or something, you're a bit kind of, I don't know, that smells a bit of the sort of thing I have to clear out of a litter tray just over there. It's not. What we want is genuine reviews. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. So, Elaine, if you can bring up your internet browser, please.
Yes, I will do that now. I will do that now. So hold on one moment, everybody. So there we are.
How immediate the effect is on people searching for Google. Okay, I'm going to ask you.
I've already done it. One I've created earlier. Is that all right?
We're prepared. That's fine. Okay, if you could do a search for Indian takeaway Ipswich.
Right, I will hit enter now. I've typed it already in. Hit enter, and this is what.
Wow, you're so fast. Look, I can already see the results. Okay, so what we have at the top here is an example of the knowledge graph.
Right.
You see just below, if you can move your mouse just to the right, so we have here Just Eat. So Just Eat have done tons of SEO work, no doubt. They're a huge company, so they're at the top. I'm impressed with the Royal Eastern. They clearly know what they're doing. But now I'm looking at these results from an internet marketer's perspective. If you were sitting down at 8 o'clock tonight and you're just back from work and you've just opened a beer or a bottle of wine and you think, oh, I don't want to cook. Yeah, fancy an Indian. So you sit down and you search Indian takeaway Ipswich. When you see those results, you're not going to be looking at SEO. You're going to look at one thing. Now, Elaine, if you looked at those results, out of those 3 companies, which would you be most likely to
I would be definitely, my eye is just totally drawn to the Indian village because of the stars. And those stars, I know you're going to tell me what they represent.
They represent the reviews. Now, as we can see, the Royal Eastern do have 4 reviews, and Jorna, which is actually just down the road from me, they have 3.
Yep.
But the one that draws your eye is the Indian village.
Yes.
So there's a very immediate example of why reviews are important. If you're at home now after this talk, just start searching around for businesses. It's not just hospitality. It's not just takeaways. This applies to research. Don't do it. But if you searched for the niche I'm in, you would see people with their results. If you search for a garage, you'd see review results. Now, Google is primarily taking these from Google+. So what this means is if you want to get the absolute top spot on Google, and more potently than that, the top spot that is going to really draw people in and bring them to you, you need to get reviews on Google+.
And are you going to be showing us, are you going to be telling us how we can get those reviews? Because, you know, that's important. How did the Indian village get those reviews?
At this stage, this is so embryonic that I would say if any of your competitors have got reviews on Google+, at this stage, on the 2nd of April 2015, to date this video if you're watching it in the future, it's almost fluke, or it's people like you, Elaine, or like me, who have a great interest and investment in figuring out social media and what's new and what's exciting. It's probably mostly those people at the moment on Google+. TripAdvisor is for angry people on the whole, and that's fine. On the whole, I'd say people have fluked it at the moment. But what I would recommend doing is going and checking your Google Plus account, and then, in the first instance, personally request reviews.
There is something, though, isn't there, Andrew, that we, you know, it's a little bit, to my mind, not very satisfactory, and that's the fact that you can only get reviews if you've got a Google page that's a place.
I'm not entirely convinced about that, because I've got some research I'm doing at the moment. I sent a tweet out on my AL_associates account earlier. It appears that even if you haven't got a place account, you may still be able to get reviews. It's just a bit buried away. Rather than not go into too much depth, if anyone's got any questions about that specifically, then contact Elaine or contact me, and I'll see what I can do. But no, it's a frustration at the moment. Google have made a bit of a pickle with kind of Google Maps, and then Google Local, and then Google Plus, and then Place. It's all just got so horribly jumbled up, which brings me to my next point. If you have a customer or a client who adores you, they're your best, you've been with them 10 years, you know, you've got a brilliant working relationship, you do them favors, they do you favors, they ring you while you're on holiday, and you go, oh, and you pick up the phone, so they're like the best client ever. If you were to pick up the phone to them or send them an email now and say, look, it would be a great help for me if you left me a review, they'd go, yes, of course, anything for you, no problem at all. The problem is, when they sit down at Google and they go, I must leave Elena a review, that may be as far as they get. Because of all this horrible jumbled mess around Google Places and Google Plus and whatever. So it's crucial to send them a link that takes them directly to the exact spot on your Google Plus listing where they can leave a review. Elaine, if I'm going to give you some notes for you to send out, I'll show a little trick for doing that, because there's a way of just kind of cutting right, straight through.
That would be really good. That would be great, because, it's with all these things. It's the same thing on LinkedIn. If you're trying to ask for a recommendation, not an endorsement, but a proper recommendation on LinkedIn, it's buried. Yes, you can find it, but it's not easy. So somebody that, again, wants to recommend you, you really need to direct them. You need to be very clear what you need to do. Same with Google.
Yeah, I'm very much focusing on the positives here. So, for example, that Indian takeaways review, I think Indian's still the most popular type of takeaway. If you look at that list, 10 reviews or whatever it was for the most popular one, that's criminally low. If you can get, I bought a replacement plug for my kitchen sink off Amazon, which sounds really lame because I could have just gone out, but I was then asked to write a review about it, and I thought, why not? And I was in a silly mood, and I thought, I'll go and write a comedy review about a plug. And I got there, and there were about 75 other reviews already for a plug. I mean, literally just the thing that goes in your sink. So if
that's really weird.
Bizarre to get that much, if you're providing a good service to your customers, you should have tons of reviews. And it would appear that Google agree. They think, they know that people talking about you isn't a sign that you're an authority within your field. This is why they reward good content and good research for organic results in SEO, and this is why they're now focusing on this.
So you need a strategy then, don't you? I'm guessing you need a strategy. I guess you need, first of all, to make sure you're on Google Plus, and then to have a strategy.
Yeah, the strategy is see what your competitors, how many reviews they've got, and then try and get more reviews than them. I mean, I'm keeping this very basic. There is an aspect to this. In some ways, this is called online reputation management. And one aspect of this is, more so in America, where companies are suffering from really, really bad reviews. It does happen here as well. For example, if you have a hotel that someone leaves like a stinking review, or there are a lot of bad reviews, it can potentially put people out of business. So by encouraging positive reviews, potentially, if you've got, for example, TripAdvisor, this hotel stinks, Yelp.com, this hotel was full of cockroaches, and so on and so forth. If you can put out enough positive reviews, especially on Google Plus, and they have to be real, please don't fake anything. If you fake anything, you will get caught. There's no two ways about it. These have to be genuine. Which is why also I've had an experience with one of my clients where I said, right, you've got to get reviews, you've got to get them, and I won't tell you what Phil doing, but they get on so well with their clients that all of their clients started leaving 5-star reviews. So I ended up having to say, like, no, you need to sort of dial it back. They're all genuine, all completely genuine. I had to say, you need to dial it back a bit. The thing is, not everybody will leave 200 words detailing how their life was changed by the guy who did the tires on their car. That's not realistic. People leave short, snappy reviews. For some of my clients, I've said, look, just ask people to leave a star rating. It doesn't have to be 5. I'd prefer it if it was more than 3. Yeah. But just having that chatter, having that general kind of noise around your brand is really, really important. And I'm not going to be bold enough to say getting good reviews here will help your organic listings here, because Google aren't outright saying that.
No.
But there's a certain amount of theory. It won't do you any harm. It certainly won't, because to get here, Google want to see you as authoritative. So a lot of people talking about you up here in Google's Plus, it's either not going to do you any damage or it's going to help in a positive way.
Okay, so I know we've got 10 more minutes to carry on talking. It's gone so quickly. Now, you want to show us some other things, don't you? I'm conscious that you've got a way of helping small businesses get their reviews onto Google. Is this a good time to look at that now?
Yeah, we can do that, but the takeaway for this whole hangout for me is make sure you're on Google Plus.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to ask for reviews. But again, as with all internet marketing, don't go crazy. Just add it to your toolkit. Add it to your marketing toolkit. Don't drop everything. Don't drop your AdWords if you're doing them. Don't stop advertising in the newspaper. This is just another way of kind of putting yourself ahead of your competitors.
So now, on your Google Plus page, there is, in fact, on the profile, on the page, there's a star, and that's that star that you're going to need to click to get the reviews. Is that right?
It's actually a little pencil at the moment.
Okay.
Clicking the star will put that business into your favourites. Okay, I'm gonna show you something which is I've been trialing. Okay.
Okay.
This is likely to go live at some point this year, but for some local businesses, I've been testing a system, kind of a funnel, to try and take people towards kind of the right place to leave reviews.
Okay.
Now, the reason this all came about is we talked about, even if your bestest mate ever is going to leave you a review, they're likely to sit down at Google and kind of fail, probably. So what I'm doing is this is amended from a system that some other people use in the States already. I've just simplified it massively.
Okay.
The example I'm going to show you is for the Steamboat, which is a pub in Ipswich.
I know it very well. Very good live music. Very good place.
Yeah, well, I've been there loads of times. Yeah. But anyway, they already have a good reputation. But I help them out with their internet marketing and their social stuff. So I experiment on them. I think would be a polite way of putting it.
Yeah.
So if you go down and eat a meal at the Steamboat, they should, at the end of the meal, they should give you a card,
right,
which all it says on it, Steamboat Tavern, how did we do today?
Right.
And the only address on that card isn't their main website address, it's a different one. And it's steamboatreviews.com.
Okay.
So if you bring that up.
Shall I go and look that up? Hold on one moment. Right, Steamboat Reviews.
Anyone can set this up for themselves. As you can see, this is not the cutting or the bleeding edge of internet technology. Anyway, so when someone's read that card and gone to Steamboat Reviews, they see this. There's just two options. You had a bad experience, or did you have a good experience? Now, the plan here is that if you had a bad review and you click that, what comes up is a contact form, and you send your negative feedback directly to the Steamboat.
Okay.
Now, the reason this is crucial is that most people who complain just want to be heard. And if you're giving them the opportunity to let you know where they felt let down as soon as possible after they've been your customer or experienced whatever it is you're doing, you're more likely to get genuine feedback, you're more likely to find out which staff members are perhaps require a little bit more training. But more importantly, those disappointed customers aren't going to go home and fume about kind of how they think that things went wrong, and eventually get to the stage where they're so wound up, they do end up on TripAdvisor or somewhere and leaving a stinking review. Or what would be worse is if they're having a conversation with their colleagues, or say, "Oh, I'm thinking of getting my ears pierced or whatever," and say, "Oh, do not go to so and so ear piercing. They're terrible. I had an awful experience." Whereas if your customers kind of get back in touch with you through this, it gives you the opportunity to immediately put it right. You ring them up and say, "Look, we didn't realise you only had one ear, so when they came," a bizarre example,
So that's excellent.
Okay, so
that's cutting, getting in there quick before there's a big problem. So that's that. I had a bad experience.
Yeah, what more could business owners want? You don't want people going, "Hey, how many times you've been at..." This is not focused just on hospitality, but it's a long ago shut down pub round here, and it was awful. And every time that we used to eat there, because it was really cheap,
Yeah.
we used to think, right, well, we're not coming back. At the end of the meal, the waiters go, how was everything? And you go, oh, it's lovely. I mean, how many people do that? It's just, you never go, well, actually, the steak was awesome.
Yeah, it's the British way, isn't it? We're not complaining. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not complaining, but we're also not going back. That's the problem here. That it's kind of what we all do. Anyway, if we can go back to Steamboat reviews.
Okay, sorry, I got a little bit distracted there. So I had a great experience. Should we see what happens when we click that?
Okay, so what this does is it gives people the opportunity to leave that positive review. Now, I've biased this towards Google and Google Plus massively, which is why there's that green flash on the bottom. I think that's where that should be the first place that reviews are left.
Yes.
On the right-hand side, those links will also take you to the exact point on Facebook to leave a review, the exact point on TripAdvisor, blah blah blah. So it's just encouraging things along. So we're trialing this at the moment.
Okay.
Anyone can do this. I mean, it's so easy to build websites now. You don't need to be a genius. But in the first instance, go on. It's lovely and simple.
Really simple, doesn't it? And then if I was to then click write a review at Google Plus, that would take me to that Steamboat's page. So let's just do that right now and see what comes up. And there it is, the Steamboat Tavern. I hope they're listening today because they're getting a lot of good plugs. and yeah, I guess that there, star this place, or that, write a review.
Right.
Yeah.
As of today, this is typical. I found out just before we came on air that I can now make that more direct, which is why I'm asking if you people to get in touch, and I'll tell you how to do it, because you can give people a link that takes them straight through to the bit you're now looking at.
I see.
Which is better.
Yeah. So somebody could actually take that link to that place on Google and maybe convert it into a bit.ly or a shortened link and put that link, or actually hand that out to people on cards if you're a service business or
exactly. Because as you can see in the address bar there, it's something wild that no one's going to remember that.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be able to do that. I'm not sure.
Views as well. But
yeah, lots of U's and O's and goodness knows what.
Anyway, I'm not pitching. The takeaway here is that without spending any money at all, you can get to here.
Right, and that's where we want to be. That is where we want to be, don't we? So, you're trialing this. So, can people take part in the trial by getting in touch with you?
Oh yeah, speak to me. I'll be. What I'm looking for is for non-hospitality kind of companies. This applies to anybody. I've got clients who sell very specific pieces of industrial machinery that are very, very niche, and even when I look at that, it's still relevant. Yes. It's still relevant. So what can I say? If people say about you online, it's never going to be a bad thing, is it?
No, indeed. Whatever business you're in. We're coming up to the end of our 30 minutes. We've had Jane Billing. Oh dear, sorry she couldn't be with us. I think she's caught part of the show. We've got my dear friend Candy from Japan, and she's suggesting that you can embed your site from G+. Oh, so you can embed your G+ onto your website as well. I've not done that, but would you recommend that? Andrew?
This is why this sort of thing's so brilliant. And you mentioned SIMS earlier, the Suffolk Internet Marketing Specialists, because us internet marketers, and I include you in that, Elaine, none of us have the same skill set. So if you're like a carpenter and someone said, look, you've been putting hinges on all wrong, you think, oh my God, I've been putting hinges on like that for 20 years and I don't know anything. But in our industry, because it changes so fast, by tonight, I could have had an email from someone that says, actually, what you were saying has now changed.
Yeah.
But I think this one's worth thinking. Positivity online about your brand is never going to change.
Yes, yeah, indeed. So anyway, but thank you, Candy, for asking about that. She's what else has she said? There are lots of platforms for businesses, marketing that fits your needs. If you're using Google Plus for Business, make sure you engage with your audience. That's important.
Oh yeah.
Engagement.
Oh yeah. I mean,
engagement.
It's really focused and really targeted. But because I could talk for weeks and it would be as boring as that sounds. But for this, I just want to keep it super targeted. But yeah, engagement. If people start speaking to you, speak back. You know, if you were selling flowers and someone came in, as soon as they've given you their money, that you wouldn't stop speaking to them. You wouldn't just like, right, go away now.
Yeah.
You need to continue engaging. Social media is no different.
And if they bought flowers, the next thing you're going to say is, will you write a review? There's my card. Don't forget that step. Oh, excellent. Right, well, what we will do, for anyone that wants to continue the conversation, and I think we've started a conversation here. There's the Google event page, so carry on. Ask any more questions. I'm sure, Andrew, you'll be happy to go in there and answer anything that's technical, more technical than I am.
Yeah, I'm going to hang around. I'll go to Google Plus page.
Great.
In a minute, and we'll have a chat.
Yeah, that's absolutely excellent. So Andrew will be there on the Google event page if you want to have a chat with him. Thank you so much, Andrew. I really, really appreciate you giving up your time to share that fantastic tip there. Get those reviews, get into that knowledge graph area, whatever business you're in. So everybody, if you are interested in Google Hangouts as a proposition for your business, I'm running a free webinar style Google Hangout on the 16th of April. All the details will be on the event page and also, in fact, on this YouTube video link down below. So check that out. Sign up. It's free. It's an hour. I'd love to see you there. So again, thank you very much, Andrew. Hope you have a lovely afternoon and appreciate your time. So bye now, everybody.